This episode is a little different from the things that I normally talk about, and that's because things feel a little weird out there right now. I'm sure you feel it too. Grocery prices are up, travel is shifting, and even if your pet business is technically doing just fine right now, there's still this undercurrent of uncertainty that is leaving so many of us wondering, am I actually set up for what's coming? So in today's episode, I'm doing something a little different. This one is not all about marketing or branding or websites. It's about how to creatively and intentionally set yourself up financially, both from a personal standpoint and as a business owner, so that you can feel a little more grounded no matter what the world is doing. And now, of course, a quick disclaimer before we dive into this. I am not a financial advisor, and this episode is not meant to be financial advice. I am simply sharing some things that I've been doing and going through some different ideas and tools and resources that I've seen work well for other small business owners. As always, do your own research and make the decisions that feel right for you and your business. This episode is meant to spark some thought around what we can do in times of uncertainty to make ourselves feel a little more secure or at least proactive and feel a little bit better about what might be to come. So let's think of this episode as your business coffee chat for weird times. I'm ready to enjoy this conversation, and I hope you do too. Welcome, Petpreneur, to the Pet Marketing Unleashed podcast. I'm your host, Michaela Vargas, founder, designer, and educator behind Pet Marketing Unleashed. This podcast is all about growing your pet business without the stress. Here, you'll find episodes packed with actionable tips and advice for streamlining your online presence, avoiding burnout, and onboarding new clients while you're away from your desk or out with the dogs. So pop in those earbuds and learn stress-free marketing and website strategies with me while you head out on your next dog walk, pet sitting visit, drive to your next session, or just wherever your pet business takes you next. Let's dive in. The first thing that I want to share with you, I'm really excited to share because this is literally something I personally feel like I learned about so late. Like, no one ever told me about this. It's not very well known, at least as it should be. I actually got my sister and several friends on board. And I highly recommend it for anyone who has money sitting in their savings account. And that's to move your money from a traditional savings account into a high yield savings account. If you still have your emergency fund or if you have a buffer savings, whatever it is, in a traditional checking or savings, you are missing out by not doing high yield savings. So there are different ones out there. I use Wealthfront for my high yield savings and I really love it. It's super simple, it's automated, and it actually earns like real interest. So you may in a traditional savings get like 0.01%. So you get a penny every few months or something, you get like a penny or like $1 or something like that. And it's ridiculous. But with Wealthfront, at least at the time of this recording, their APY is 4%. So you're earning 4% on your savings. That's wild. And if you do want to try it out, I do have a referral link that I'll put in the show notes that gives you an extra 0.5% on top of their rate, which I'll again drop in the show notes just so you know. But this is seriously one of the easiest, low effort things that you can do to make your money work harder without doing anything extra. Now, you're going to have to record it on your taxes, like it's actually taxable income because you're actually making so much though. So it's super awesome. And you actually have a significant portion if you have a savings or as you build it, you're making more and more every single month on your savings, way more than a traditional account. And it's still, because I don't know if you haven't heard of Wealthfront, it's still FDIC insured. It's legit. I don't know why people don't talk about it more. Like everybody should have a high yield savings, even for just their emergency funds. I even have, which we'll talk about Profit First later in this episode, but I have separate business accounts based on different categories. So I have like a backup type of like payroll account, and I actually have that in Wealthfront. So that's also earning income monthly. So definitely just take a look at what you have as far as your savings and your different business accounts and see what you can put into Wealthfront, because why not earn money on the money that you're saving, right? Super exciting. Okay, number 2. Smarter grocery shopping with things like co-ops and Azure. Groceries are seriously one of the first places that we feel the economic shifts. Like I'm sure that you guys have experienced going to the grocery store and you're like, wow, that used to be a lot less than it is now. We're all a little bit more mindful of what we're buying and all of that. So something that we found personally helpful is companies like Azure Standard. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Some people call it Azure. It's Azure Standard. And different local co-ops. So there's different ones that you can join. This is the one that I've joined. And it's amazing for bulk organic pantry staples, household goods, even personal care items. Like we use it for floor cleaner, and a lot of their stuff's like very natural, non-toxic, a lot of organic options if you're into that sort of thing like we are. And it's a way to get it so much more affordably than stores like going into like Whole Foods and things like that. And the reason why it's cheaper is because it gets delivered onto a freight train and then you go to like local pickups that are run by volunteers. So you'll get an address and then a time that your driver is going to be there and then you pick up your order. And that's why it's like almost like more direct to consumer. And you have a group of people who are doing it. And everyone I meet there is so nice. Like everyone's just like on the same page. It's awesome. And I really love doing that. So that's something that we've been doing. This really significantly helps you cut down on those like, oops, I went to Target and spent $100. Because that's how I feel whenever we go to Sprouts. I literally go in for a few things and I'm like, how in the world was that $100? So this is a way to cut back on your normal expenses. Not everything has to be in bulk. They have different options, but obviously it's cheaper the more that you buy in bulk. And with the uncertainty and everything going on right now, I am big into buying in bulk. So that is a quick and easy way too that you can kind of just switch over your groceries, order online. You don't have to commit to anything with them. You can create a free account. They just email you when the cutoff is for orders because they only do orders so often because it's all delivered onto one truck. So that's something I definitely recommend for groceries. And if you have access to local farm shares or CSAs, which is community supported agriculture, it can be a great way to get fresh seasonal food while supporting local farms. And typically when you do that, you're getting it way cheaper than if you were to go to even to like the farmer's market because you're making a regular commitment and they typically give you really good deals for that as well. So just thinking more creatively about your groceries, ordering in bulk, using co-ops, using CSAs are definitely ways to cut back on monthly spending there because the groceries are out of hand. All right, number 3, let your data guide you in business and in life. We're going to talk about data, but not in a boring spreadsheet way, but in a more power move kind of way. And you've heard me say this in other episodes, but tracking your numbers is one of the best ways to stop wasting money and energy on things that are not working. And if you go back to, I believe it was episode 18, we talk about data specifically from a marketing standpoint. I highly recommend giving that episode a listen as well because it's all related here. But in your business, what are you paying for each month that's not giving you an ROI? Think about different tools, subscriptions, marketing channels, for group membership that you forgot to cancel. And in your personal life, streaming services, delivery fees, apps you don't use. Now, this is not about shame or restriction. It's just about clarity. So you can say, oh, cool, this one's worth it because I'm getting a return that feels worth it to me or is worth it based on the hard data I can look at. And this one's not. Let's let it go. And things with subscriptions that I really like, that's just like a simple hack as well to save money is if you do have any sort of savings, reach out to those companies and see if you can get a discount by paying annually versus paying monthly. So typically you'll get 1 or 2 months off by paying for that annually. When you're trying something new in your business, you sign up for something monthly, then you forget to go back. If you know you're going to be using this tool for like ever, indefinitely in your business, it works really well. It generates a return. You love it. You know you're going to be using it. That's something that you can potentially reach out and see if you can pay for the whole year up front, and that can actually save you money as well. So take a look at all of your subscriptions, make sure that the ROI is there. If it is there and you know you're going to be using it for a while, see if you can pay annually versus monthly to save a little bit there too. And if you are into this kind of stuff, we have a fun episode with my friend Corinne that goes deeper into data tracking for pet business owners. Data is everything. Data is everything in business. Business is data. And using that to drive your decisions is super helpful, but we can also carry that over into our personal lives to see what we're spending our money on there as well. All right, number 4, trade what you have. Skill swaps are totally underrated. Sometimes the smartest move is not spending less, it's actually just spending differently. If cash feels really tight to you, what could you trade instead of buy? Bartering gets overlooked in business, and I think it's also one of those things that's a little bit like controversial. Some people are like, don't do that. But I think it's underrated. I think that if the partnership is right and it feels really good, I think you could definitely do some trades instead in seasons of uncertainty. So some ideas for this could be offering a few pet care visits to a photographer in exchange for new brand photos. Trade social media help for accounting support. Do copy edits for someone in exchange for a Canva refresh. There's so many different ways that you can offer things that you're good at to another pet business owner who can do something for you as well that can actually help you grow your business using their skill set. So think about the relationships that you have in the industry, people that you might know, or even start developing relationships to be able to do things that can boost your business and give you, again, going back to the data and an ROI, like brand photos are super powerful for your website and for social media. So do you know a local photographer and what can you offer them if you don't necessarily have the cash for it, but you have something of value to offer them that they need to? Because also community is currency, especially right now. In uncertain times, leaning into relationships can really open up opportunities and support. Interrupting this episode real quick to share a free tool that can put extra money in your pocket, literally. You're out here working hard, growing your business, and taking care of clients. But is your money working just as hard? If you're keeping your savings in a standard savings account, you're earning basically nothing. I'm talking like 0.01% interest. Yikes. It's time to switch things up. That's why I want to tell you about Wealthfront's free high-yield cash savings account. It's completely free, and as of right now, you can earn 4% on your savings total, which is like so much better than just letting your money just sit there doing nothing. And if you use our link in the show notes, you'll get an extra 0.5% for 3 months. That means your money isn't just sitting there, it's growing effortlessly while you focus on running your business. With Wealthfront, there are no account fees. You get free 24/7 instant withdrawals. There's no minimum or maximum balance to earn the current 4% APY. You get up to 8 million FDIC insurance through partner banks, and it's super easy to set up and manage online or via the app. So if you're ready to make your savings grow way more than your average savings account, click the link in the show notes and start earning from your savings today. Number 5, create a low ticket offer. Yes, even in the pet business world. Here's a little marketing meets money tip. When the economy is uncertain, people are more likely to buy lower tier offers. So for example, I remember back in college, my professor always explained that when we were in recessions or in periods of uncertainty, people weren't necessarily going out and getting like spa treatments. They weren't necessarily going out for mani-pedis. They weren't necessarily going out for facials and getting their makeup done, but things that are little luxuries like fancy nail polish, fancy lipstick, things like that would actually go up because while we couldn't have those big splurges of things that we wanted to splurge on, people were able to do little things to make themselves feel better. So that's something that I want you to think about for your business. Ask yourself, what do you already have in your business that others might pay for? Maybe it's a checklist or intake form that you're always getting compliments on, or a roundup blog post with affiliate links to your favorite tools and gear. Or maybe it's a common question that always gets asked of you that you know you can give away key takeaways for people to experience wins without investing in a full program for dog training, for example. Now, these do not need to be full-blown digital products. I think that this is where people kind of get held up of like, well, then I have to design something and set up this funnel and do this whole thing. You can start scrappy. Use what you already have. Like if you have a Google Doc template already set up for a process that you have or homework for dog training clients, you can duplicate that, spruce it a little bit, and then sell it. It's a really fun way to create a little extra income stream without adding a ton of work to your plate. It does not need to be this elaborate, beautifully designed thing. Just put it out there, and if it's helpful for people, if they can experience wins, it's going to do well. Number 6, revisit your pricing. It really might be time. If your expenses have gone up in the past year and your prices haven't, that's something to look at. I know raising rates can feel so scary, but this really doesn't have to be a huge overhaul. Even bundling services differently or adding a small premium tier can make a big difference. And if you're worried about how to communicate the change, we've got your back. We have a totally free email template that helps you announce a rate increase with confidence and kindness. It's helped so many pet business owners and it's available anytime, and I will link that for you in the show notes. But just something to look at. And this is something actually that my friend Michelle Klein mentioned in one of her podcast episodes. It's her episode 11, Hot Tip, Triple Your Pet Sitting Profit. I highly recommend giving that one a listen because there's different ways that you can increase your pricing without doing a major overhaul or upsetting people. And it can really just make such a big difference to your bottom line without doing a whole bunch of work. There are different things that should potentially be different in pricing wise. And I'm honestly a big believer in keeping things as simple, consolidated as possible, but there are ways that you can raise your rates without just like blanket, everything is going up 50%, right? You got to look at, again, going back to data and going back to where you could actually be increasing your prices without doing anything so major that makes, people feel very stressed or overwhelmed and things like that. So check out our template and check out Michelle's podcast episode. I think both of those would be really helpful to listen to and digest. All right, number 7. Open a solo 401k because future you will be so glad you did this. This is one of those tips that people often overlook. And I know we're talking more right now about things to help you save money, but this is so key especially for business owners, because number 1, we often don't do 401ks and retirement plans. We don't think about that. And number two, there are so many perks to being a business owner. We need to take advantage of it. So this is a big one. If you are self-employed, you can open something called a solo 401k. It's like a traditional 401k, but it's made for solopreneurs or business owners. I believe it's specifically for business owners that don't have employees outside of themselves and a spouse. So keep that in mind. But regardless, there are different special 401ks and different retirement things that you could do as business owners, even if you have employees. So I want you to do some research here depending on what your business model is. But for right now, I'm just talking about solo 401ks for our solopreneurs out there, even if they technically have themselves as an employee or maybe their spouse. But the benefits of having a solo 401k, you can contribute as both the employee and the employer, which is so awesome because like right now, I think at least at the time of this recording, you can contribute from the employer a max of 25% of your salary, and it's a business expense. So why would you not do that? It's like if it comes out of the mainstream business, it's not coming out of your income, it's amazing. This also means you could potentially set aside more money per year than with a traditional ROA or Roth because you can do it from the employee and the employer, which reduces your taxable income, which is huge for helping you to save money. And depending on your income, you may even be able to do Roth contributions too. Platforms, there's different ones out there. I use Carry. I love Carry. They make it super easy to set one up without needing to go through a financial advisor, a big institution. And they have a lot of resources and education, webinars, and they even have the ability for you to get a financial advisor who comes up with a plan for you based on your specific situation. You can message them whenever you want. It's amazing. But even just starting with super small contributions can make a big difference long term. And this is a really smart play if you want to build wealth and save on taxes. And that's the difference here too, because that made the biggest difference. And we're getting a little more personal here. I'm not sharing exact numbers because I don't even remember them right now. I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head. But the amount of taxes that we saved when I started doing this from an employee and employer standpoint, I got a huge tax return. And I'm like, what was the big difference here from like year to year? And my accountant was like, it's because you did your employer contributions. So just something to know, it can save you so much money. And it also builds your retirement, which a lot of us are not necessarily thinking about when we're starting to build businesses, right? And with my link for Carry, I will also share that in the show notes. You can also get $100 off to start with them as well. I love working with them. They are incredible. And regardless of what platform you use, because again, there's different ones, look into the options, talk with your accountant, look into the different options that you have as a business owner in terms of starting a retirement account. See if you can do a solo 401k. Try and do as much as you can in terms of employer contributions because that is essentially almost like free money because it is taxed as a business expense. It reduces your taxable income. It's awesome. Okay, and the last tip I have for you is to read Profit First. If you have not read this book, it's called Profit First. It's written by Mike Michalowicz. I highly, highly recommend it. I've actually talked about this book for several years in my business. It's one of the best business books that I've ever read. Reframed my whole mindset around profit and how you handle business finances. It's literally a must read. Like you must read this book. It completely reframes the way you manage your business finances, not as like whatever's left over goes to me, but as pay yourself first, then run the business. Make sure your business is profiting first, then run the business. And even if you don't follow every single step that he has in the book, the idea of separating accounts for profit, taxes, and operations is so powerful. It gives you structure, it gives you clarity, and way less end of the year panic, especially when it comes to taxes. It's literally like budgeting for people who hate budgeting. Organizes it in a way that you feel like, okay, I am actually running a business. I understand my numbers. My business is profitable. Even if your business is in debt, you immediately start having a profit in your business. It's incredible. And he also talks about rewards, which I'm really mad at, but he talks about how you're supposed to take, I believe it was like 50% of your profit every quarter to do something fun to enjoy the fact that you are a business owner, which I really love. And this may be the motivation I need to start doing that because I've literally been, and I have every once in a while, but rarely. I'm such a saver. But anyways, I should start enjoying that stuff too. This is my motivation. If you are one of those people and you are going to celebrate being a business owner too and reward yourself a little bit, please message me on Instagram at Pet Marketing Unleashed because I need the motivation and the accountability as well. We will both celebrate being business owners. Okay, I think that covers everything that I wanted to cover. I'm going to recap the 8 things that we went through so that we have all of them in one spot. Number 1, move your money into a high-yield savings account. Number 2, consider smarter grocery shopping with places like Azure, co-ops, and CSA so that you can cut back on your groceries. Number 3, let data guide you in business and in life. Number 4, trade what you have. Skill swaps are totally underrated. Number 5, create a low-ticket offer. And no, it doesn't need to be a perfectly designed one. It just needs to be something that delivers value and wins to your ideal clients. Number 6, revisit your pricing. Number 7, open a solo 401k or whatever sort of business 401k that you can open. And 8, read profit first. Okay, this was not a cut every expense kind of episode. This was about getting creative, making empowered decisions, and setting yourself up to feel more secure and less stressed in a time that's just kind of weird. You don't need to overhaul your whole life or business here. Just pick 1 or 2 things from today's episode and try them out, and then you can add from there. If this episode was helpful for you, I would really love it if you shared it with a fellow pet business owner who might need it too. Because we are all in this together, you guys. The pet industry is special, and we gotta support each other and lift each other up. Until next time, take care of yourself, your business, and your future self. Thanks so much. Thanks for listening to the Pet Marketing Unleashed podcast all the way to the end. You're the best. If you loved what you heard, please share the podcast with your pet biz friends. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and leave us a 5-star review. We love to hear what you think of the show, and we are so grateful for all the support and love you show by sharing the podcast with others. And don't forget to stop by our website, petmarketingunleashed.com, where you'll find a ton of resources, recommended tools, blogs, templates, courses, and more to help you grow a stress-free and fulfilling pet business. Here's to saving time, ditching the stress, and standing out from the pack. Thanks again so much for listening, and I will be back soon with a new episode. Bye for now.